Hi, my name is Donna Page. My website's Loving Light Astrologer, and we're going to be talking about the new moon in Aries. The new moon in Aries is on March 30th, 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time. This chart is set for New York, and you can set your chart for wherever it is that you live. The angles, the differences between the planets, they will all be the same no matter where you are on the planet for the new moon. The difference will be is, say, if it was at sunset, then the angles, the houses are going to be in different places. If it is several hours earlier, like over in Hawaii, then the planets will be over on the eastern side, and vice versa. If it's at night, 5-6 hours later in Europe, then the new moon is going to be down in the lower after sunset, in the more or less the fifth house. So the angles between the planets are what is important, and the aspects the planets make. So what are we looking at? We're looking at a new moon conjunct Aries, square Jupiter, square Pluto, and this is very intense. The nature, the purpose of this energy, conjunct Uranus, is this deep desire to be free. Now, those of us who have been living in the northeastern United States, or in possibly parts of northern Europe that have been experiencing a more difficult winter, this idea of spring fever. And for my friends on the flip side in Australia, the desire for freedom, it will still be there no matter where you are on the planet. This energy of breaking free will be incredibly deep and powerful. But it's more than that. What I want you to look at is the fact that we have Venus has just gone square to Saturn. Venus, as you know, or are supposed to know if you're studying astrology, is what we value. Venus, a planet of love. But what do you love? What do you value? And square Saturn, there's this tension with it. Can I get what I want? Can I have what I want? Why is it difficult to have what I want? So there's this tension, but Saturn always wants to make something real. But the real important part to look at, and also she's trying Mars. In the last new moon she was square Mars, so it is saying that there's more of an internal ability to understand and to take action to do what's needed so you can have what you want. So yet here's what I want you to pay attention to now is Venus is at 23. Sedna, the dwarf planet Sedna, is at 23. And Sedna is the principle of being promised something and putting your heart and hopes into the promise, and then finding out that it was just an illusion. It was just a pipe dream. It was a broken, they told me, they made this promise that this was going to be a great thing for me if I just studied this, or if I did that, or if I got married, and all those promises that end up being, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. But out of Sedna comes, as part of the life's path, but it comes a lot of growth from that, and then ultimate contribution to the planet. But what's this Venus Sedna? It really is saying that this cycle, and you will feel the cycle. You can say this is for the month of Aries. The new moon is on March 30th, but April 1st, it goes through April. The energy will be very strong for 3 weeks, and when the sun shifts into Taurus, there will be a difference. But you can basically say most of it will play out until the next new moon, which is a solar eclipse. So this energy you will feel for weeks. And the message is about asking yourself, What do I need to do? Where do I feel, being very honest with yourself, where you might feel disillusioned about any part of your life, but how you can make the best of it. And I know that sounds very trite, but how can you grow from disappointment? How can you grow from thinking that if you did something, you would be happy, just to find out that didn't bring you happiness, but it ends up being a stepping stone on a path. And this month, say the path will be finding that freedom, being confident in yourself to go after it, being willing to transform, being willing to be honest with yourself and make those changes. Now, the other aspect that's very important to pay attention to, these two dwarf planets, I see them coming up over and over again in consultations. And the concept of this is Eris. Eris is the symbol for where we feel left out in life and we're angry about it. And Eris is at 22. And Mars is at 22, opposite. So, and Mars is that sense of frustration, and, well, it is also the motivation planet, but it's anger, the planet of war. It's known as the planet of war, just like Venus is known as the planet of love. But it's that sense of being willing to stand up and fight. Yet here Aries is at the other side. So where in your life do you feel that you've been left out? So we got these two major archetypes being activated in this new moon that desires for so much freedom. Of one, where we've been disillusioned, and two, where we feel that we've been left out, and that we could be angry about it, could be frustrated about it. And ultimately, it's how do you take action? Because it's an opposition, you may feel that there's others opposing you, that they're just shutting you out. And it doesn't have to be an individual, it can be a situation. I'm being shut out of this group, I'm being shut out of this career, I'm being shut out of getting into this university. So it can be something that's opposing you. And this is where it can be a circumstance that comes up that will motivate you to move into a position of being able to look deeper within yourself to find that essential freedom. And always ask yourself, if something's happening to you, ask deeper. Is there a part of me, maybe not a loud part, but a very quiet part, that really didn't want it anyway? And again, there's a lot about this energy about being honest and being able to say, most of me wanted something, but maybe a part of me was insecure, maybe a part of me wasn't sure if I wanted to be committed. Just be honest with yourself, and then you'll be able to find you moving into this time of freedom incredibly, in an incredible adventure for this month.